Hello everyone and welcome to a very late episode of Let's Demo. This game came out September 19th and today is the 25th. So playing the demo today is kind of worthless considering the game is already out. And I already ordered it myself, the Steelbook edition, which contains all the DLC and the season pass, so I lost basically no money on the DLC because the Steelbook edition was the same price as the normal game. Which is weird considering the digital Deluxe edition of MVC Infinite costs £30 more. Or dollars or euros. They use the same amounts of money even though the currencies aren't the same, which is weird in itself. But anyway, I saved like $30 on that, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, I thought we could still take a little look at the demo Capcom put out on the PSN. It's still available, and it serves as a very short look at the story mode of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I think I've said the game's name one too many times, so let's just get on with it with the actual demo and see what the gameplay is like. I hardly remember what MVC3 was like. I have both the regular and the Ultimate Edition of that, so I've played it quite a lot, but it's been a while since I haven't really played much since the purchase of Ultimate. I played that a little, but not as much as the original. So it's been like a few years, you could say. And by a few years, I mean 6 years. Jesus Christ, the time goes so fast. Yeah, here we have the settings of the game. A lot of languages, surprisingly. There's subtitles on, yes, thank you. Sound. Yeah, battle commentary. Well, I guess it's all alright right here. A lot of sounds options though. God, let's not fill that. Just gonna break everything. Yeah, controller settings, that's fine with me. There's only the story mode and the pre-order option in this here. I skipped the entire monologue of Ultron Sigma just there because, well, it was just monologue and we kind of want to be seeing what the story mode itself is like. Everyone who will buy the game or watches the cutscenes online will probably hear that new bad guys dialogues quite a lot, so I thought we could just check the animation quality of the cutscenes. We didn't get to see much there, but I'm actually happy they had, like, actual cutscenes instead of just the usual fighting game, picture by picture thingy-dealy going on there. So that's at least something. We'll check the cutscenes a little more when they come up again. Here we'll get to the actual juice of the game, aka the fighting itself. I think Capcom released a statement saying that this game here is like a return to the roots of the MVC series, because in the original games you only had 2 characters to deal with while playing the game, and in MVC3 you had 3 characters in your team. So I guess the Marvel vs. Capcom Origins they released before this game, and quite a few years before this game, sold well enough for them to think that, the original style is the way to go. In this story mode, you only battle like Ultron drones and some other random bad guys, not actual characters. At least most of the time, you will be battling, normal characters in this story mode, but most of them will be just these random drones. Kind of like the newest Tekken 7, in which you had to fight some random goons in the story mode. It's a strange decision, but understandable considering you can't be fighting just the characters all the time for the story to make sense. And here we see more of the cutscenes themselves, which I think look pretty good. I've heard some bad things about them, that they look a little bit iffy. And sure, this is not the best animation quality, like I think Chun-Li looks a little bit weird there, but it's okay. It's okay by me. I'm one of those weird people who actually enjoy the stories in fighting games. So story modes in fighting games I'm especially interested in, like for example Marvel vs. Capcom, because I really like crossover games, Project X Zone and the fighting games and all kinds of RPGs that you can find. But the crossover storylines really pique my interest, and with the entire story mode dedicated to this kind of stuff, I'm happy that they made this. And story modes in fighting games in general have become such a norm nowadays, which is something I think Mortal Kombat 9 started with its amazing story mode that had people in awe that what, fighting games can have good story modes? Well, yes, and they've always had interesting stories. Maybe not the best, not the best writing there, considering you used to have just the opening and ending cutscenes in the arcade modes, and you'd be fighting some random enemies. Like I, I was laughing when I was playing Street Fighter 4, when Ken's story mode, or well, the arcade story, starts with him opening a door of his home, like going outside. I'll be right back, and then he's in China fighting a fucking monkey person on a boat. Then, like 10 fights later, after destroying a freaking member of the Blue Man Group and his evil lair, he just returns back home. That's his literal last cutscene. He returns from the same door he just went out from. Like fucking months later, like, hello wife, I'm back. I had a very interesting trip just now. But yeah, I think this is a better kind of story mode to get you more engaged in the story. If you're interested, like most people who play fighting games only play for the competitive side because they enjoy wrecking people, like I'm destroying these robots right here. I'm not the best in fighting games, but I do like an interesting story with, like, multiple perspectives, because there are usually multiple characters you can choose from, because what a fighting game would only have like two characters. But I think the story mode idea for fighting games is good for people like me who are not very good at the whole fighting game deal. No, it's the character from the movie just came out. And here we see Ultron Sigma with his hordes of Asgardians he has infected with his some kind of, I don't know, cyber virus. I'm slightly interested to see where this goes. This is a very weird story, but it's more like a Marvel story than a Capcom story, I think. And I just like seeing how all the characters tie into this kind of thing. And I also like in these crossover games how you have characters like Arthur you would never see in a context like this otherwise. It gives these characters like more ways to interact with different surroundings. It's a weird thing, but it's an interesting thing. But for now, I think we should just skip straight into the final battle of this demo, which is like, I think I have like 20 minutes more of this video. So I'll just skip right to the end so you can see some interaction with characters, game-wise, not just story-wise. Characters that are not just these random cannon for goons. That was Spencer from Bionic Commando. But here we'll skip to my utter destruction at the hands of an actually capable character. Coincidentally, we have the same characters we just left off with to play as. But for the actual gameplay, which is something I'm sure most of the people who are watching this are more interested in, it plays more or less like the previous Marvel vs. Capcom game, aka Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I haven't actually played the originals. I jumped to the bandwagon with MVC3. But here Ultron Sigma is just completely destroying me with his henchmen. It might look like my complete and utter destruction, but the game is set so that Ultron Sigma is nigh unbeatable. Of course, if you are a capable player, when it comes to fighting games, I'm sure you could be able to destroy Sigma himself. I think I managed to do some damage to him at some point, I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe I just remember kicking that normal X-Guardian's butt, which also could be a false memory. But, you know, the button prompts are intuitive. Oh, yeah, I actually managed to do something for him. But yeah, the button prompts are the same as you would expect. It works well, the characters control well, you know, the attacks come out just as you are supposed to do them. Of course, when I don't actually remember how to play as each character, and I haven't even played as Spencer or Thor in previous games. I used to play with the faster characters like Dante and Spider-Man. But more or less it works well. I don't have any complaints. I'm not an expert at the subject, but if you like fighting games, crossovers, Marvel, Capcom, any of that stuff, I think this is a game you could enjoy. I'm not sure if you would enjoy the story mode, considering it's most likely not the best written game. It's not based on the story. Well, it's based on the story, but it's the basis of the game itself is on fighting, not telling an insightful story or anything like that. Oh, it's Chris Redfield from Resident Evil, and slight spoilers for Resident Evil 7 right here. He doesn't look anything like he does in Resident Evil 7. So that's the thing, they decided to use his previous model from Resident Evil 5 and 6 instead of how he looks in Resident Evil 7. Which is surprising. You would think that they would use the latest model for him. I guess it was just easier to do him like they did in MVC3. But here the demo ends and shows you the Deluxe edition includes 6 new DLC characters with premium costumes and Sigma himself, which is a different character from Ultron Sigma. Ultron Sigma is a combination of Ultron and Sigma. Surprisingly, that's the end of the game. Or the demo, well, that's a given since this is a video about the demo. But that's what the game looks like. That's the story mode, that's the gameplay. I couldn't tell you more about the gameplay if I wanted to, because it's a fighting game. What did you expect? It's not shit. It's made by Capcom. They usually make good fighting games. I think one thing I should mention though, that I didn't previously, and you could see me using it a little bit in the game itself, but there are these new Infinity Stones that give you extra powers. But that's about it. They didn't really tell you much about them in the demo itself, which is kind of sad, but you know, it's a demo. They probably just couldn't show us everything. But for now, I will bid you farewell and thank you for watching. It's been interesting to make a fighting game video since I've never made one of those. Well, all the old Mugen videos I made, but I didn't make any commentary for those. That's about it. I will see you in whatever I decide to do next. Bye bye!